What's up, dudes? In today's video I'm going to be talking about the 3 best ways to prep for gigs. I like to call it the 3 P's of preparation, which is practice, prep and professionalism. I'm going to touch on all 3 of these points and explain how that can make you way more prepared for any gigs that you have in the future, and basically just anything really, so let's get into it. Number 1 is practice. This one's so obvious, but basically the first thing to do is just always practice your instrument as much as possible. So with me, I have an Impilo rehearsal every weekend and I rehearse with Easttown Pirates every Wednesday. So at least 2 nights a week I'm rehearsing with my bands, and then during the week I get to play drums in other ways. So Thursday nights I'm at the Rock Project, teaching, still playing but teaching, and any other night when I'm just sitting around doing nothing, I'll get my practice pad out and just have a little tap on that. So there's always things you can do. Being a drummer, it can be a little bit difficult to always have time to go to a rehearsal room or set up a drum kit somewhere. So get a practice pad if you are a drummer and go to town on it really. If you're a guitarist, you can noodle away whenever you want. So in a nutshell, practice, practice, practice. That's the first one. 2 is for preparation. This one is the key to everything that we're talking about today, and preparation can come down to so many things. So first of all, for me, when I prep for a gig, I'll make sure I'm taking the right gear with me. So first of all, the right cymbals, sticks. I'll tune the drums ahead of time according to what gig I'm playing. So for example, with Easttown Pirates, I like everything to be a bit big and gnarly, so I'll tune the drums like low and fat, take my bigger cymbals with me. But with Impilo, I'll tune the toms a bit higher and take smaller cymbals and a bit more of an experimental setup just because it suits that sound more. With depth work, obviously we need to be rehearsing as much as possible, learning the songs, but if there are a few songs that you haven't quite grasped before the gig or just haven't quite had enough time to rehearse for, writing out cheat sheets is so good. This is one thing I always do. So a cheat sheet is essentially writing out the song name on a piece of paper and then following it up with the structure. So I'll listen through the song and say intro 4 bars, verse 8 bars, chorus 4 bars, etc., and just use that to help me along through the song if it's one I'm not as familiar with. It's also worth noting on there things like any stops or stabs or tempo changes. You get the idea. So cheat sheets are a great way to help you prep for the depth gigs. Obviously packing all your gear up, that's part of preparation as well. Getting your stick bag sorted. In a previous video I've talked all about what to take in your stick bag for gigs, so making sure all the little things are prepared as well. I always make sure I take water, plasters, extra sticks, moon gels, anything I can think of, drum keys, duct tape. There's endless things you need to pack and prep for a gig. And finally, the last thing I'll do to prepare is actually research the venue I'm playing if it's one that I haven't played before. So I'll look up the car parking situation, load-in times, the size of the stage, capacity, all these things, because they might change what setup you need to bring, how early you need to leave to make sure you can get a parking space. It's just a sensible thing to do. Just look up the venue, maybe even contact the promoter and double check with him the timings and the best time for you to arrive. That always looks good. Those are the main things I do to prepare. So in a nutshell, cheat sheets, take the right gear and look up the venue so you know you're going to be arriving on time. And finally, number 3 is professionalism. This one is extremely important, not just for gigs with your own bands, but especially for depth work and session work. You're often going to have situations where you have a depth gig and you don't actually know anyone. So the first thing you need to do, turn up on time, dress the part if the band have a certain image they go for, and always introduce yourself. So find the band, introduce yourself, go find the sound guy, always introduce yourself to them, make sure you get to know them, find the promoter, have a chat with them, and then just get to know the band that you're playing with a little bit and sort of open up and make everyone feel comfortable. That's key really. That's the first thing to professionalism. And I'd say the second part of that is actually just the way that you play. So no one's going to want to hire you as a depth musician if you're not playing to the song and you're just fiddling between songs. You know, all these things I've mentioned in the first things, if you're underprepared, so you're not really knowing what you're doing, it does just look terrible and it won't lead to further work. So these are all things I really have adapted since I started the YouTube channel and started getting some depth and session work. I'll make sure I always act as professional as I can, you know, because it is a job at the end of the day. It's something we all love doing, but we are getting paid for this, so you're not going to get further work. No one's going to offer you more work if you're a bit of a to be honest, so just make sure you're doing the right thing. An example I love to give my students about how being professional and being a general nice dude will often get you the work over being the best player if you're a bit of an idiot. An old drum tutor of mine, who was a fantastic drummer, fantastic guy, when he was 18 he auditioned to be the drummer in Jamiroquai, and he said that everything he did led to him getting that part. So he was prepared, he turned up on time, he was friendly, and he brought tea and cakes. I don't know if that sort of helped wing it for him, but he got the job because he was prepared, professional and well practiced. And those are the 3 P's that we've been talking about today. So do apply them to everything that you're doing when it comes to preparing for gigs and generally just anything with your band. This applies also to when you go to a recording studio. These same principles apply, so take them on board. I would like to know if there's anything that you guys do differently to me to prepare. Everyone has their own rituals, things they like to do, and they all just lead to us being individual musicians. You know, we're all different, we all do our own things, but this is just the way that I do it, and I thought I'd share that with you in case it helps. In summary, these are the things you need to do. The first P is practice. Practice your songs, practice everything, practice your instrument. 2 is prep. So take the right gear, write out your cheat sheets, look up the venue and make sure you're going to be on time. 3 is professionalism. Just act very professional. Don't play between songs. Turn up on time, which kind of fits in with number 2 as well. And generally just be a nice dude. That's what I'm getting at there. Everyone prefers a nice guy over the flashy player who is a nightmare to work with. So I hope this helped. It's another one in the series of tutorials that I'm trying to do. The stick bag one went down really well, so I'm going to try and do more. Let me know if there's any things you'd like to know. I'm happy to make videos upon your suggestion. I can make improvements as well, so if there's anything you don't like about this video, leave a comment below telling me. If there's stuff you do like, you know, leave a comment as well, but more importantly, like the video. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. I put out videos every Friday at 6:30 p.m. They mainly consist of drum covers and vlogs from gigs that I'm doing and things like this occasionally. So I'm going to try and do more of these. I enjoy doing these videos, but as per usual, whatever you're doing today, go out and smash it. All these things just really, I just can't talk. This is another thing. This is definitely going to be the outtake at the end.